Okay, so I want to talk about my own journey with engineering in this video. Basically, why I quit after my first job. Never swore that I would never get back into my field, and then eventually getting back into it. So just like a little brief summary of my early life. I had a normal childhood. Math was always my strong suit. I loved math since I was a kid, and then once I got introduced to physics in high school, like that was it, right? It wasn't. I didn't really have a sort of crisis at the end of high school of like, what am I going to do? It was pretty obvious. Like I was going to go into mechanical engineering. Didn't get into engineering the first year. I got into sciences, but eventually got into engineering the next year. And then after about 5 years, I graduated with my degree. Probably took me 4 or 5 months to get my job. I think I had like 8 or 9 interviews in that point. This was in 2013, and eventually I'd landed a job with Schlumberger, which is a massive company. It's a massive oil and gas company, and I was just stoked, right? I was stoked. I got to move cities. I was moving to Calgary, working downtown, big corporate job, live downtown, all that good stuff, right? So just before I move on, like my mindset at the time it wasn't very good. I wasn't happy. Okay, I hated high school. University was kind of a blur. I just went through it. Like I had a lot of self-confidence, anxiety, very introverted, very anxious like person, right? So I didn't make the most of my school, and that's probably the one regret that I have in my life is like I didn't have the typical experiences that a guy in his young 20s should have. And so my mindset at the time was like, okay, I got this job, like everything's just gonna work out, right? Once you get a career and you become successful, things will just fall into place. You'll meet the right girl, you'll meet the right friends, that's kind of where my head was at. So started working, like I said, it was a corporate job. We were part of the completions team at Schlumberger. So basically we designed downhole well tools, specifically packers, and I talked about this before. Packers, what they do is they seal they seal the wellbore for when you're ready to pump up oil. So you run it down, you set it, and it sort of forms a seal between the tubing and the casing, and so you direct the oil through the tubing and not through the annulus or through the casing. Now the job itself, I would say, wasn't like super exciting. It's just kind of I think it's kind of the nature of oil and gas. I worked with people who are a lot older than me, so I did kind of struggle, to being in a new city, not knowing anyone. So then in 2015, oil started to crash and things started getting really bad. Layoffs, massive layoffs in my company. My boss got let go. Another guy got let go. Like we lost basically half of our team, and it sucked because there was no more money, there were no more projects, no more testing. It was everything. It was just demoralizing, right? No more traveling, none of that. And so 2016, I got laid off. I know I said I quit, but I basically in my mind I'd quit, and I would have quit if I had the courage to do so. Although getting laid off was kind of nice because you got a severance package and you got to go on EI. I was ecstatic to get let go, and I know that sounds kind of obnoxious. But the reason why I was so happy is because obviously I didn't have to do that job anymore, and I had another way to sustain myself, and that was to play poker. Started playing poker full time, and I was so happy, and I was done with engineering. Like I have no intentions of ever going back. Like that's it. I'm not working for anyone anymore. I don't want to have to deal with this bullshit of like, oh, I'm gonna get laid off here. Boring work. Like that's it. I had another way to make a living that I enjoyed, and like I was done. And I told everyone this, and that was it. Started playing poker. By the way, I played poker throughout university. That was sort of a part-time income for me. I would go and play in the casino on the weekends, and now I was gonna do it full time. And it was it was great for the first couple of years. Honestly, like. It was fantastic. I got to travel. I got to go and have the experiences that I didn't have. And then I think 2017, I wanted to start playing online. This is when Twitch was kind of popping off. I started to watch all these online streamers. I was like, that'll be really fun. I started developing my skills online, and kind of worked my way up slowly, got better. And then I got a little bit ahead of myself. Now, if you guys don't know much about poker is incredibly stressful, and the reason why is because you're constantly going like this. You can be a winning player and have a losing month, even a losing year. And so as I started to play against the better players, I got my ass kicked. And usually when you get your ass kicked and you start to go on a downswing, you adjust. You start to play lower stakes. Maybe you maybe take a break, right? And there was a point where I went through like a really, really bad one, really bad downswing, and I didn't care. I didn't want to go. Like, poker is very grueling. I wasn't playing responsibly. I wasn't disciplined. Didn't drop down in stakes. And so eventually, within 2 or 3 months, like, that was it. Everything was gone. Everything that I'd worked hard for was no more. So at this point, I've been out of my career for 2 years, and I still, this is how messed up I was. I still had no intention to go back in my field. I had gotten so wrapped up in this, I gotta be my own boss, because the only way to be successful is to be your own boss, right? I felt so much like shame being an engineer and working for someone that I had no intention of working for someone again, even when I was broke. So I moved to Thailand. I have a friend who lives out there. He kind of, I worked for him for a while. He had like an online business. He also played poker, so I did that as well. And the next like year or so, I was, again, just scraping by. I went back to playing live. And then my family kind of had enough. And they were like, get your shit together or leave. And rightly so. So I did end up starting to apply for work again. I started tutoring as well, which was good. It was something I needed to do. And then started just shooting my resumes out. Probably 70, 80 different jobs I applied to, and I had no callbacks. Nothing. Eventually I did get a response from a company, and we sort of went back and forth, email, and then nothing. And then a couple of days later, I sent another email. We kind of went back and forth. Like, yeah, I'll be back in town soon. Okay, great. And then nothing. And then a week later, and this is important to be persistent. A week later, I was like, okay, I'm just follow up again. Sent another email. It's like, all right, just come in for an interview. Went for the interview. Probably a couple of days later, I got the job, and that's the job that I'm working at today, and I love it, and it's brought me so many. It's made my life so much better. And so I want to try and share some lessons with you guys that I think that I definitely have learned myself, and hopefully maybe y'all can learn from it as well. So the first lesson that I would give you guys is make sure that your mindset and your expectations are right. I had a responsibility to put more effort into my work. As much as I didn't like that job, and as much you guys are going to find that some jobs are just boring, you have a responsibility to commit to it as well, because part of your I guess fulfillment and enjoyment of your work is your effort that you put in, is the connections that you make with your team. Kobe said this all the time. Put 100% effort into whatever it is that you're doing, because what you're going to find is that even if your work is kind of mundane and your first job will probably not be the job that you want, you can still develop your skills, and the development of your skills is actually what can fulfill you. And I know Zach Starr even talks about this in one of his videos. Put your effort into it, work for a couple years, and then sort of figure things out from there. But don't expect the job to give you everything and you give it nothing. You have to make that concerted effort as well. The second lesson I would give you guys is don't judge your industry by your first job. Okay, your first job is almost never going to be your ideal job, right? You have to work for a couple years in order to sort of gain that luxury of selecting what industry you want to go to, what type of work you can do. You might just end up initially with a boring job, and there are boring jobs out there. That's just the nature. Also, like when you just start working, you don't really have that many responsibilities. You're typically working under a couple, at least two, maybe other engineers. As you become more experienced, you're given more and more responsibilities. Like you become, let's say, the mentor for the new people, right, for the interns. And that's where a lot of the enjoyment and fulfillment comes in, is having responsibilities. This is something that Ben Shapiro says a lot. He's like, having responsibilities makes you a better person, right? Taking on responsibilities makes you better. My last point I think would be to just connect with people. Make like a concerted effort to really make friends and get to know your colleagues. As someone who, look, I've worked for myself. I've worked with for someone. I've had a lot of money. I've had no money. I've been happy and unhappy in all those different scenarios. I think the thing that I find when I'm most happy is when I have the best sort of people around me. As tough as engineering is, and engineering school, like, go and meet people and go to events and join clubs and stuff like that. That's a once in a lifetime sort of experience. Really make a concerted effort to get to know your peers and your colleagues and your friends and stuff. And yeah, that's sort of that would be my advice. I don't know. I hope this video wasn't too long. Let me know what you guys think. Hopefully I gave you guys some good little pointers there. I know there's a lot of like anxiety. It's like, well, what is the industry like? Like how come so many people are quitting? I was 100% in that mindset, right? So the people that say engineering sucks, like that was me. But I think I showed you guys a little bit about why that was. It wasn't always about the career itself. It's about how you approach things, right? Where your head is at and what you're expecting and what you can give your career, and instead of like what it can give you. So I'm gonna end it there. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also check out my new Instagram page called Irrational Engineering. I'll be posting on there more often than I do on YouTube. So yeah, that's a wrap. Merry Christmas, you guys. Hope you all have a great holiday, and I'm out. Love y'all, and we'll see you soon.